it's advised at least you listen to Paduka Patabhishek. Not at least, actually, this is the first place where the devotional aspect of Ramayana is taken to its crest level in Valmiki Ramayana. So, we'll do the prayer and we'll start our Ramayana. Kujantam Rama Rameti Maduram Maduraksharam Arusya Kavita Shakham Vande Valmiki Kokilam Valmikir Munisimhasya Kavita Vanacharinah Shunvan Rama Kadanadam Ko Nayati Parangatim Yat Pibam Satatam Ramacharitamrita Sagaram Adriptastam Munim Vande Pracheta Samakalmasham Goshpadi Kritavarasham Masaki Kritarakshasam Ramayana Mahamala Ratnam Vande Anilatmajam Anjananandanam Veeram Janaki Sokanashanam Kapi Samakshahantaram Vande Lanka Bhayankaram Amishi Kritamartandam Goshpadi Kritasagaram Trinikrita Dasagrivam Anjaneyam Namamyaham Ullangya Sindosalilam Yasokavahim Janakatmajayaha Adaya Teneva Dadaha Lankam Namamitam Pranjali Ranjaneyam Anjaneya Matipadalananam Kanchanadri Kamaniya Vigraham Parijata Dharmula Vasanam Bhavayami Paumananandanam Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Katamastakанjaliം Bhashkavari Paripurnalochanam Marutim Namata Rakshasantakam Manojavam Marutatulyavegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanarayudhamukyam Sriramadutam Sirasanamami Yakkarnanjali Samputaihi Harasam Mikpibathyatarat Valmikir Vadanaravindaghalitam Ramayanakyam Madhu Janma Vyadi Jaravipatti Maranaihi Atyanta Sopadravam Samsarasaha Vihaya Gacchati Puman Vishnor Padam Syashvatam Tadupagata Samasa Sandhiyogam Samamaduropanatartha Vakyabaddham Raghuvara Munipranitam Dasasirasascha Vadam Nishamayadvam Valmiki Girisambhutanam Ramasagaragamini Punatu Bhuvanam Punyat Ramayanam Mahanadi Sloka Sara Samakirnam Sarga Kallola Sankulam Kanda Grahya Mahaminam Vande Ramayanarnavam Veda Vede Parebum Sijate Tasaradatmajam Vedaha Pracheta Sadasit Sakshat Ramayanatmana Vaidehi Saitam Surudramutale Haime Mahamandape Madhye Pushpakamasane Manimaye Virasane Sustitam Agre Vachayiti Prapanjanasute Tattvam Manibhyaparam Vakyantam Bharatadibhi Parivritam Ramam Bhajesyamalam Vame Bhumisuta Purascha Hanuman Paschat Sumitra Sutah Sitrugno Bharatascha Parshvadalayoho Vaivyaadikoneshu Sugrivascha Vibhishanascha Yuvarat Tara Suto Jambavan Madhye Neelasaroja Komalaruchim Ramam Bhajesyamalam Mata Ramo Matpita Ramo Brata Ramo Matsaka Ragaveshah Sarvaswame Ramachandro Dayalu Nanyadevam Naivajane Najane Sakete Saradindu Kundadavale Saude Mahamandape Paryasta Agarudhupadi Palalite Karpura Deepojvale Megasyamam Mahabaham Stirasatvam Dridavratam Kadadrakshamahe Ramam Jagatah Sokanashanam Jayatятибало Ramo Lakshmanascha Mahabalaha Raja Jayati Sugriva Raghavena Abhipalitaha Dasoham Kosalendrasya Ramasya Kishtakarmanaha Hanuman Shatru Sainyanam Mihantam Marutatmaja Naravana Sahasram Me Yuddhe Pratibalam Bhavet Shilavistu Prahattar Padapaisya Sahasrasaha Adhaitvam Purim Lankam Abhivadhyascha Maidilim Samridardo Gamishyami Mishatam Sarvarakshasam Dharmatma Satyasandascha Ramo Dasaridiryadi Paurushecha Apratidvandvaha Sarayena Jahi Ravanim Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamane Namaste Saraswate Deva Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Tapaswadhyaya Naritam Tapasvim Vagvidamvaram Narada Paripapracha Valmiki Muni Pungavam Om Ramayana Namaha Hare Krishna. How many of you believe that Ramayana has happened? I mean, you don't have to raise if you don't have it. My duty here is to give you that faith and confidence that Ramayana had happened. Whatever information I know, I will pass it on to you. So, today I was talking to one of my friends. He was telling that Ramayana has been authored by several authors. It's not authored by Valmiki. And first question I had to ask him is, did you read Valmiki Ramayana? He didn't read, but he has this notion that it has been written. Because the Western scholars, they say that, right, Mahabharata has been written by, Vyasa is not one author, but it's like a Pita. which is occupied by several authors, and they all together wrote Mahabharata. They come, out of the air, they pull something and then they say. But when you read Valmiki Ramayana, right from the first verse to the last verse, the metering, the words, everything, they follow the same notation, and get the confidence. No, this is written by one single person. And they say that Uttarakanda is not written by Valmiki. No, if you read Uttarakanda, there are references to, what is said in the other kandas, and if you read here, there is references what is said in Uttarakanda. So we cannot judge, we cannot believe what the Western scholars and what they are trying to interpret from Ramayana. For them, it is very hard to believe that one single person has written 24,000 verses. One single person has written 100,000 verses. Mahabharata consists of 100,000 verses. But I'll tell you this. Last year when we did Valmiki Ramayana consists of 24,000 verses. Believe it or not, to do the Ramayana recital here throughout the year, I had to read it 6 times. 24,000 verses 6 times. So if a single person who doesn't know Sanskrit can read 6 times 24,000 verses within a year, doing an 8-hour job, regular kind of job, it's easy for a scholar like Valmiki to write 24,000, just within 6 months, or right? It's possible. And for a scholar like Vyasa to write 100,000 verses, it's no big deal. There are authors who have written 30,000 verses, even in the modern days. So we don't have to consider what others say. But anyway, coming back to the Paduka Pattabhishekam episode today, last week we have stopped exactly where Bharata met Rama, and Rama had asked him about all the administrative questions, of which I left out some things which I will discuss today. Rama asks Bharata that, my dear child, are you taking up all those activities in such a way and keeping them a secret in your mind so that others would know about it only after you have achieved your tasks? Like if you are planning something, others should know about it only after you have accomplished that plan, not before that. Are you behaving in such a way? So like that, he asked this one more question also. I wanted to say this because I felt it was important. So we don't, So he asked that question, and he made Bharata sit on his lap, and he asked all these things. Then Bharata replied, my dear brother, why are you asking all these questions to me? After you have left Ayodhya, our dear father, unable to bear the separation of you, having given his word to my mother Kaikeyi, he sent you to the forest, and then he ascended to the heavens. Here, I would like to pause and tell this thing. Bharata, in the first verse itself, he tells that Dasaratha has ascended to the heaven. But Rama doesn't take that news as the death news of Dasaratha right away. There's a conversation that goes after this. And then later on, when Bharata tells one more time, at that point Rama recognizes that Dasaratha has passed. This is very interesting. I thought the sargas were shuffled. I thought the verses could have been shuffled. This verse should fall in the place. No, it follows the continuation. So Bharata, in the beginning itself, he says he ascended to heaven. My dear brother, our king Dasaratha, he has given you the kingdom, but upon the asking of my mother, it has been passed on to me. But I reject this offer. I never claimed this kingdom, nor am I interested to rule this kingdom. Just like a falcon cannot imitate the might of a Garuda bird, similarly I cannot imitate you. It is you alone who can rule this planet. It is you who alone who is equipped with all kinds of qualities. All the sages and elders, everybody respect you, they love you. It is up to you to come back to Ayodhya and rule the kingdom. And my father, after having decided to make me the king and exile you to the forest because of the request of my mother, he ascended to heaven. He tells one more time. Even now Rama doesn't consider this as the death news of Dasaratha. Then he says, then Rama replies, my dear child, our king Dasaratha is both to you and to me the Lord. Not only to you and me, but to all the people of Ayodhya. He is the Lord. Whatever he says, we should obey. He has given me this forest. Even this forest belongs to Dasaratha. Even the kingdom, the Janapadas belong to Dasaratha. So you rule the Janapadas, I will rule the forests. I will be the lord of the beasts. You be the lord of the citizens of Ayodhya. This is what our father wished, and I cannot take back my word that is given to my father. And Rama also says, and after having given me this exile to the forest, our dear father ascended to the heaven. Here he also says that he ascended to the heaven, but he doesn't think that Rama died, because Rama knew that they were all, it was a common practice for Dasaratha. Whenever demigods come, he will go to the heaven and then he will help them out in all their troubles. So for a person like Dasaratha, it's not a big deal to go to heaven and come back. So Rama is thinking that maybe he might have gone to the heaven for helping out the demigods. So that's why he did not consider this as the death news. So then when Rama told all these things, then Bharata tells Rama, my dear brother, our father, unable to bear the separation from you, not even 3 days have passed, he left his body, grieving, O Rama, O Lakshmana, O Sita. He was crying for you, even until the last moment of his death. He was weeping for you, and then he left this body. At this time, Rama took the news. This is when Rama knew that Dasaratha left the body. So then Rama fell down just like a tree struck by an axe. He fell down unconscious. Then Sita, Lakshmana, Bharata, they all ran towards Ramachandra. They sprinkled water on his eyes, and then they woke him up. Then Rama woke up. Then he sat down on the floor, and then he wept. And then he said to Sita, O Sita, your father-in-law has passed away. Look at the news that Bharata has brought to us. Your father-in-law is deceased now. O Lakshmana, your father died. So Rama never said, my father died to Sita or Lakshmana. He said, your father-in-law died and your father died. Because for Rama, Dasaratha was always alive in his heart. And for Rama, Lakshmana is his father. Because in Panchavati, in Aranyakanda, when Lakshmana builds the hermitage for Rama, there he tells Bhavagnena, Kritagnena, Dharmagnena cha Lakshmana, that, O Lakshmana, you have understood my feelings and you have constructed this beautiful hut and you have always been serving me. For me, you are like my father, and I will never forget my father because of your presence. So Rama always considers Lakshmana as his father. And he tells him that your father has passed away. Then he starts crying. Then the other sages, like the other ministers, Sumantra, they all come and pacify Rama. Rama gets up. Then he calls Lakshmana and tells Lakshmana, bring that Ingudi pulp here. There's a tree called Ingudi tree, or a fig tree. How many of you are familiar with fig trees? Yeah, fig tree. Generally in olden days, when they have nothing to eat, they grind the bark of the fig tree, the Ingudi tree, and they eat that pulp. That is a practice. When a person has nothing to eat, he will eat that. He can eat that and survive in the forest. So Rama, since now he is living in a forest, he has to offer Pitru Tarpana. So he doesn't have grain or anything to offer. So he says, Lakshmana, go and bring that Ingudi pulp. Then when they bought that Ingudi pulp, then he made a ball of Ingudi pulp and then he put it on Darbha grass, Kusa grass, and with the pointed edges of the Kusa grass should be pointing towards the south. So he placed them, and Sumantra took the hand of Rama and then he made him walk down the ramp leading to Mandakini river, which was sacred. He took Rama there, and then Rama offered Tarpana. He took water in his palms and said, my dear father Dasaratha, may this clear and pristine water that is untainted may reach you wherever you are. So he offered that water, and then he came back, and all the brothers, they joined each other, and then they wailed loudly, lamenting for the deceased Dasaratha. And all these loud cries echoed the Chitrakuta region. And when the army of Bharata heard these noises, just like, it echoed like lions were crying. So when they heard this, they knew that Rama and his brothers have united. So immediately they came out of their tents, and the elderly people, they started ascending the chariots, and the cavalry ascended the horses, and the people who are young, they just walked briskly towards where this noise is coming from, and then they reached the hermitage of Rama. And Vasishtha also approached by that time, and When Rama saw all these elders and his friends and kith and kin, he greeted them, he embraced them, he welcomed them, he made them to sit. He clasped the feet of Vasishtha first, and then he took blessings from him. Vasishtha woke up Rama, and then their mothers, Kausalya, Sumitra and Kaikeyi, they also proceeded towards the hermitage. And Kausalya showed the Ingudi pulp, the balls made of Ingudi pulp, to Sumitra and said, "My dear Sumitra, look at what Rama has offered to Dasaratha. I don't think this is a befitting Pitru Tarpana for a king like Dasaratha. For my husband, for my glorious husband, I don't think this is the befitting Tarpana. And why am I still alive after seeing this, that the Emperor Dasaratha receiving such thing from my son Ramachandra? He has to receive a glorious Pindadana." So she said that, and she also said, "Sumitra, look at this water. It is from here Sita, takes her ablutions or takes her, bath and other things and water for cooking. And it is from here Lakshmana carries water for his brother Ramachandra. Even though he is doing some menial tasks, but do not consider it as menial because it is glorious. He is following the path of the virtuous. He is serving his brother, and this will lead him to higher heavens. But today, because Bharata has come here to take Ramachandra back to Ayodhya, all the miseries of our dear children will vanish. And I hope this rigorous exercise that they have to do in this forest will also be taken away very soon." So Kausalya said that to Sumitra, and they all walked towards the hermitage of Ramachandra. Here, Lord Rama took blessings of his mothers one by one by one. With their delicate and fragile hands, they lifted Ramachandra, and it is very beautifully said that they wiped off the dust from the back of Rama. Till now, he bent and took blessings from so many sages. He met friends, he met his relatives, everybody, but nobody did that, right? Only mothers, they wipe off the dust from your back. I mean, it shows the kind affection of, the motherly affection. So Kausalya, Sumitra and Kaikeyi, they wiped off the dust from the back of Ramachandra. That body that has to be smeared by the powder of sandalwood, sandalwood is smeared by the dust that rose from the hoofs, hoof prints of the deer and other animals in that region. And when they came, Ramachandra took blessings, and similarly Lakshmana also took blessings from all his mothers. They also lifted him, and somehow here it is mentioned that Lakshmana was very handsome at this point by Valmiki. So they gave blessings to him. And Lakshmana, remember, he did not utter a word from that point when Rama silenced him, saying that if you want the kingdom, I will ask Bharata to give him the kingdom. So at that point Lakshmana was silenced, and he did not utter a word even now. And he took blessings, and then he stood aside. And now Bharata again pleads Ramachandra that, "My dear brother, you are eligible to rule the kingdom. You have all the qualities. Just like a tree that grows into a huge tree with branches and it has bouquets of flowers and everything. But if it doesn't bear a fruit, then what is the use of it? Understand this analogy." That's what Bharata said. Last time I couldn't understand the analogy, so I didn't tell anything. But now it is evident that Bharata means that Dasaratha planted a seed called Rama, and it grew into a huge tree, shelter-giving tree. But now, if you abandon the duties of a king and not take the kingdom, then what is the use of the tree? Where is the shade? So Bharata is questioning. So for this reason, you have to take up the kingdom. Then when they are crying thus for their father, Rama said here, he tells him, "My dear child Bharata, control yourself, pacify yourself, listen to me. Even a strongest building that is constructed with rocks will be dilapidated after a while." One might be thinking, how can a strong building constructed with a stone get dilapidated? A cement house may go bad, after a while, but how can a building constructed with stone go bad? From the crevices of the nook and crevices of the stone, banyan trees and other form of trees, they come from somewhere, we don't know, and they crush the stone, right? So even the strongest building gets dilapidated after a while. Similarly, this body will also get aged, and then it will die away. It will wither away. No learned man or a wise man will weep for our king Dasaratha like you and I do. whatever was said in Bhagavad Gita by Krishna in a different way. He says, Asocyan anvasochastvam prajnavadanscha bhashase gatasuna gatasuncha namusochanti panditaha. The same thing Rama also tells here. That no wise man, learned person and a scholarly person will cry like you and me for our father. Because Dasarada has given a huge feast as sacrificial feast whenever he conducted a sacrifice. If you all know Aswamedha Yaga, for those of you who have not attended, Dasarada gave some 10 crore gold coins to, he divided his kingdom into 4 parts, and he gave each part to Adhvaryu, Hota and Brahma. The 3 people who conduct the yajna called Adhvaryu, Hota and Brahma. So he gave the kingdom to them. So such grand donations were done by our father. Not only that, he has ruled this kingdom for 60,000 years gloriously like Indra ruled the heaven. He has also taken care of his subjects for a lifelong time, and he has done his duties in full. He bore 4 sons like you, me, Bharata and Shatrugna. So there is no need for us to lament for the king. He is in the appropriate place. And Rama also tells that Sahaeva mrityur vrajati, saha mrityur nishidati, tatva subirgam advanam, saha mrityur nivartate. You might have heard the other 3 things. Sahaeva mrityur vrajati, that death walks with us. Saha mrityur nishidati, death sits with us. Gatva sudhirgam advanam, that means after having accompanied us for a long time. These 3 things you might have heard. But this one that Rama tells is very interesting. Sahamrityur nivartate. That means the death will return back along with you when you return to this world. Right? When you take another birth, again death will return with you. So Rama says, death walks with you, death sits with you, death continues with you for a long time, and after passing such long time, accompanying you for such a long time, it returns to again when you take birth one more time. Just like on the water, a wood that floats accumulates other wooden sticks along with it, and after passing certain distance, they would all be separated one more time. Similarly, in this world, our relations, we all come together and then we, disperse at some point, called death. So Rama tells this. So do not lament for our father, but take courage, my brother, and he has assigned upon you to take the kingdom and rule it. So take the kingdom and protect your subjects, kith and kin. Then again, Bharata presents one more contradictory point. He says, my dear brother, what you say is right, but giving you the exile and giving me the kingdom, isn't it a sin? Our mother has asked for such boon, but Dasarada, because he was tied down to Satya and Dharma, he has to accomplish that thing. So he has given me the kingdom and then sent you to the forest. But it is a sin. So relieve our father from that sin. So please take the kingdom and come back to Ayodhya. Then Rama says, he brings the same point to Dasarada and tells that for which reason our father has given his word, Satya and Dharma, for that reason I have to stay in the forest, you have to rule the kingdom. So go back and rule the kingdom. So whatever point Bharata has got, the same point Rama has taken it as, to his advantage, and then he spoke to Bharata back again. Because he is Vakta Vachaspatir Yadha. There is nobody equal to Rama in talking, because he is like Brihaspati. Then Bharata asks his brother, my dear brother, just like a donkey cannot imitate the swiftness of a horse, I cannot do it. I cannot rule this kingdom all alone. I cannot do it. So please accept my wishes and come to the kingdom. Then Rama says, my dear brother, our father, he has ascended to the heaven, and to keep his promise, I will become the lord of the beasts here in this forest. You become the lord of the citizens. Please go and rule the kingdom. You have the necessary courage. You are the Ikshvaku. You are the son of Dasarada. Then Bharata says, how can in the Ikshvaku race, when an elder brother is alive, the younger brother can take the kingdom? If I do that, will I be the son of Dasarada? I cannot be an Ikshvaku if I do that. So for this reason, I cannot take this kingdom. Then again Rama says, because you are the son of Dasarada and he has given the kingdom to you, outright, even when you were not born. This promise was made by him long ago. Here Dasaratha, Rama tells a story, right? My dear Bharata, when you were not born, when I was not born also, long ago, when Dasaratha married Kaikeyi, he gave his promise to Aswapati that the children of Kaikeyi would rule the kingdom, Ayodhya. So he gave his promise already. For that reason, you have to rule the kingdom. Last year when I did this Paduka Pattabhishekam, at this point when Mataji asked, then when Dasaratha gave the promise to Aswapati, when Rama knows that the children of Kaikeyi should rule the kingdom, how come Rama came back after 14 years and then ruled the kingdom? Any ideas? Then I have only one answer to say. I said, isn't Rama the child of Kaikeyi also? Yeah, right? He didn't say the one who has to be born from the womb of Kaikeyi, right? The children of Kaikeyi. Rama was also the son of Kaikeyi. So, anyway, for this reason, Bharata, my dear child, you have to rule this kingdom. Then Bharata said, if that is so, my brother, I will sit here on the mat made of kusa grass and fast unto death here until you come back to Ayodhya. And he asked Sumantra to spread a bed of kusa grass, and then Sumantra looked at Ramachandra and Rama did not permit. Rama looked at Sumantra and Sumantra looked at Ramachandra and he did not bring. And Bharata, not knowing what to do, he went and fetched kusa grass himself. He spread it in front of Ramachandra and then sat on it. And I will not go from here until you come to Ayodhya, until you yield to my request. Then Ramachandra, he told to Bharata, my dear child, this is not right. Rise and sip water and touch me. Because this can only be done by a Brahmana who is indebted, who has been promised by a person that he would be given money. And if he doesn't receive such a charity, that Brahmana can sit in front of that person's house and ask for that charity, but not you, a Kshatriya. It is wrong on your part. Rise, my child. When Rama said that, he has to obey his brother. Bharata can never disobey the orders of Rama. So Bharata got up immediately, he rose from the seat, he obeyed the orders of Rama. But he doesn't want to go back to Ayodhya just like that. So now he talks to the other people who are next to him. He says, my dear people, why don't you tell my brother to come back? Why is he not yielding to our request? Please ask him to come back. When Rama and Lakshmana were discussing like this, all the sages, demigods, Kinnaras, Apsaras, Gandharvas, Kimpurushas, they all assembled in that region of Chitrakuta. Because they wanted to hear the glorious sons of Dasaratha, who are saying, you take the kingdom, you take the kingdom. They were hearing. And Bharata said, he got up and said, why don't you invite my brother to Ayodhya? Why is he not yielding to my request? Are you all blind? Can't you see my anguish? Please try to call him. Nobody other than him can rule Ayodhya. When Bharata said so, then Jabali intervened. And he said to Rama, my dear Rama, your father is just a body. Now he has passed away. All the promises that you have given to your father, all the promises that your father has made to your mother, they all go away along with his body. You are just the son of, you are just a branch of that body. He gave his potence to your mother, she preserved it in her womb, and then she bore you. That's all. When your father is dead, everything is gone along with that body. Forget about it. Take the kingdom and be happy. I also see that people offer pindadanas for 8 days for the deceased. But will the dead come back and eat the pindadanas? All these foolish people, they offer the pindadanas. This is what Jabali is saying. Even in those days, there were people who questioned the Vedic traditions and customs. So Jabali said, is the dead going to come back and eat this pindadana? Why are you offering? They are all foolish people. They just follow it because it is said. And then he tells him further, all this kingdom and everything is meant to enjoy. So come and enjoy. Take pleasure in it. Do not stay here in the forest. Then Rama was enraged by the talk of Jabali. Then he told him, my dear sage, I accuse my father for having appointed you as a sage in his court. How did he tolerate such an atheistic talk? It is not right on your part to do this atheistic talk to me and guide me in this manner? I, who know Dharma, know what to do well. If I don't follow Dharma, how can I make other people to follow Dharma? It is my duty as a king and a wise man to rule the masses, to lead them in the path of Dharma. So I cannot do this. And also, you, being a Vedic scholar and sage, should not talk like this. You should not blaspheme the scriptures. And such a person like you should be held under contempt and should be taken out of the court. I wonder how my father tolerated you all these years. And Rama got enraged. Then Jabali also said, my dear Rama, I believe in the Vedas. I am also a believer in God. But when the time comes, I will also change to be an atheist. I am telling all this for your benefit, not that I am an atheist. When Jabali told like that, still Rama was angry. And Rama did not cool down. His eyes were reddened with anger for the first time. If you know that Rama, one of the qualities of Rama is Shila Vriddaihi, Vayo Vriddaihi, Jnana Vriddhascha Sajjanaihi, Kathayannasta Vainityam Astra Yoga Antareshwati. If a person who is elderly by age, by conduct and by knowledge, Rama would always converse with such people even during the intervals of practicing Dhanurveda. That is the quality of Rama. And if you know the quality of Rama, the other quality, Sachanityam Prashantatma Mrudupurvantu Bhashate, Uchyanopi Parusham Na Uttaram Pratipadyate. He doesn't respond to people who talk harshly to him. And forget about talking harshly to an elder, but first time Rama is enraged. He is enraged with the talk of Jabali because he doesn't like adharmic talk. Because that's another quality of him. Nachan Ritakato Vidvam, na Viruddha Kata Ruchihi, Uttarottara Ittaucha, Vakta Vachaspati Yatha. He is not interested, he is disinterested in stories of unrighteousness. And he never spoke untruth. So when Jabali spoke unrighteous words, Rama was enraged. Then Vasishtha intervened, because it's a duty of the sages, to protect, their fraternity and friends. Vasishtha intervened and pacified Rama, saying that, my dear Rama, Jabali knows very well what your intent is, but he wanted you to come back and rule Ayodhya for the benefit of the entire mankind and the planet. And for this reason he has uttered these words. Do not get angry on Jabali. In olden days, there was Avyakta Brahman. Avyakta Brahman means Vishnu himself. Some people have translated it as impersonal Brahman. But Avyakta means one who is not evident. Vyakta means evident. Avyakta means one who is not evident, who is Vishnu. Avyakta Brahman came Marichi. Marichi ruled the entire universe. He was a Prajapati. From Marichi came Avyakta Brahman, Marichi, Kashyapa, another Prajapati. From Prajapati bore a son named Vivaswan. And Vivaswan had a son called Manu. And this Manu ruled the entire mankind. He was the progenitor of mankind. And he built the city of Ayodhya. And to this Manu, there was a glorious son called Ikshvaku. And this Ikshvaku ruled this Ayodhya. He was the first king to rule Ayodhya. That's why it's called Ikshvaku Vamsa. And it's also called Surya Vamsa because Vivaswan was the father of Manu. So this Ikshvaku ruled this kingdom. And to this Ikshvaku, there was a glorious son called Kukshi. And for Kukshi, another glorious son was born, and his name was Vikukshi. And Vikukshi bore a son called Bana. And Bana had a son called Anaranya. Anaranya is the king who fought with Ravana. And he cursed Ravana that in our generations to come, Ramachandra would appear, the son of Dasaratha, and he would kill you. There was a curse given by Anaranya to Ravana. So this Anaranya had a son called Prithu. Prithu also ruled the entire planet. That's why it's called Prithvi. Prithu. And to this Prithu, there is a son called Trishanku. And you know Trishanku, who approached Vishwamitra to go to the heaven. So to that Trishanku, there was a son called Bana, Anaranya, Prithu, Trishanku, Dundumara. Dundumara was the son of Trishanku. And to Dundumara, there was a son called Yavanashva. He too ruled Ayodhya. And to this Yavanashva, there was a son called Mandhata. Mandhata, why he is called Mandhata is because Yavanashva gave birth to Mandhata, not his wife. Because when he did not have children for a long time, Yavanashva prayed to the sages, and then they gave a water pot for his wife, but not knowingly he drank the water and he bore, and then when he got a child Mandhata, there was nothing to feed him, right? There is no milk to feed him. So Indra came and put his thumb in his mouth and then gave him, the life-giving food to him. So that's why he's called Mandhata, because he has licked the thumb of Indra, Mandhata. So to that Mandhata, he had a son called Susandhi. And to Susandhi, he had two children called Dhruvasandhi and Prasenajit. Both of them ruled this glorious kingdom Ayodhya. And to Dhruvasandhi, there is a son called, can anybody remember? Mandhata, Susandhi, Dhruvasandhi, Prasenajit, Bharata. Bharata was the son of Dhruvasandhi. And to Bharata bore a son called Asita. And this Asita was defeated by Hayahayas, Talajangas and Shakas. I am not telling this out of the context. Vasishtha explains the entire lineage of Ramachandra here. Because whenever Rama gets angry, if you talk about his ancestors, he gets pleased. So it's better we remember the names of his ancestors also. So he says, this Dhruvasandhi had a son called Bharata, and he has a son called Asita, and he was defeated by Hayahayas, Talajangas and Shakas. And then he was abandoned, he was exiled to the forest. He went to the forest with his wives, Kalindi, and there's another wife also. Her name was not written in Ramayana, so I don't know. If I find that out, I'll tell you. So Kalindi was the wife of Asita. And when he was doing penance in the forest, that Kalindi approached the sage called Shavana Maharshi. And he gave her a boon that she will bear a child who will be powerful. But her co-wife was envious because she is bearing a child. So she administered poison with food to Kalindi. But since Sagara was born with a touch of poison, Gara is poison. So he was born along with poison. Sagara. So he is called Sagara. When Sagara was born, he defeated Hayahayas, Talajangas and Shakas. And then he tonsured the heads, half tonsured them, and then he sent him away to a region called Airavan, which is the present day Iran. And the Shakas became the Scythians, and the Talajangas and Hayahayas, they became the Persians and other people. And when I saw some of the paintings of the Scythians, they were half tonsured head. They had these things. It was, whether you call it coincidence or divine providence, but this is there. When you look at it, the paintings of Scythians, they had half tonsured head. So Sagara defeated them and then sent them away. And to this Sagara, there was a son called Anshuman. And his 60,000 sons also. He had 60,000 sons and one more son. Anshuman and 60,000 sons. The names of the 60,000 sons are not mentioned for our benefit, so that I don't have to recite all of them here. So they dug the entire earth in search of the horse, and then they were burnt to cinders by Kapila Muni. And Anshuman had a son called Sagara had a son called Asamanjasa and 60,000 sons. Asamanjasa had a son called Anshuman. And Anshuman ruled this planet, and he had a son called Bhagiratha. Anshuman, Dilipa. Anshuman had a son called Dilipa. And Dilipa had a son called Bhagiratha. And Bhagiratha brought Ganga down, and he liberated his ancestors. So this Bhagiratha also ruled this entire planet. And Bhagiratha had a son called Kakutstha. And Kakutstha, Rama is also called Kakutstha. Kakutstha had a son called Raghu. And this Raghu ruled the entire earth. And if you read Kalidasa's Raghuvamsha, he mentions vividly the exploits of Raghu. Where Raghava went and how he defeated all the other kings. There is a mentioning of the rivers in the North Russia also, which are still called with the same names that are described in Ramayana. And Ramayana dates back, so many thousands of. So that means all these things. There is a great possibility. Not great for me, it has happened. For those of you who don't believe, just with an open mind, if you read all these things, you will find out that this cannot happen. Somebody cannot just write it down without this happening. So, this Raghu has defeated many kings. Raghu was the most powerful of all the kings among Ikshvakus. There is no doubt about it. Except Rama. That's why Rama is called Raghava, because he inherits this courage, bravery, and the great strength of Raghu. After Raghu, such glory was only established in Dasaratha and Rama and nobody else. So, this Raghu ruled the entire planet, and to that Raghu, a glorious son was born, and his name was called, can anybody? He is called Kalmashapada, or Bharata, Asita, Sagara, Asamanjasa, Dilipa, Bhagirada, Kakutstha, Raghu, and Kalmashapada. He is called Kalmashapada because when he was cursed by Vasishtha, he tried to curse the sage back. He poured water in his palms, and then his wife requested him not to curse your own preceptor. Then he poured that water onto his feet. That's why he became Kalmashapada. So to Kalmashapada, there was a son called Sudarshana. And to Sudarshana, there was a son called Shankanu. And to Shankanu, there was a son called Sigragu. And for Sigragu, Maru. And to Maru, Prasishruka. And to Prasishruka, there is a son called Ambarisha. Ambarisha also ruled the entire planet. And to Ambarisha, there was a son called Nahusha. And to Nahusha, there is a son called Yayati. When Vasishtha is describing the lineage here at this point, he did not describe Yayati, but I am telling so that you would know. But he was described in the previous episode, like in Sitaram Kalyanam also, Vasishtha describes the lineage of Ramachandra. So there Yayati was not mentioned. So there it is mentioned, here it is not mentioned. But I am telling you. So to Nahusha, there is a son called Yayati. And Yayati bore a son called Nabhaga. And to that Nabhaga, there were two children, Aja and Suvrata. There are two children. I didn't knew this, the second name, the Suvrata, earlier. When I read it now again for the 7th time, now I found out another new thing. So Ramayana, when you read every time, you find some new things all the time. So Suvrata is the brother of Aja. And to that Aja, the glorious Dasaratha, your father was born. And your father also ruled this entire planet. And to Dasaratha, Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrughna, you 4 children are born. So it is the duty of you too to rule this entire planet just like your ancestors did. They protected this earth since time immemorial, like since long time. So it becomes the duty of you to carry the tradition and rule this kingdom. Vasishtha did not say this just without reason. He wanted to convince Ramachandra. Because Ramachandra would heed to the advice of Vasishtha or anybody. If his ancestors did something, he would do that. Because he is so Pitru Bhakta. So Rama, when he heard all the lineage details from Vasishtha, he was pleased. And he said to Vasishtha that, my dear sage, Yan mata pitaro vrittam tanaye kurutasthadha nasu pratikaram tatu mata pitra chayatkritam yatha shakti pradhanena snapanochchadanena cha nityam priyavadanena tadha samvardhanena cha. The parents, they give whatever they have to their children. When the child is sick, they rub him with oil. And they always talk pleasingly to the child. And such love of parents can never be requited. So my father also gave me such love. And now today, I cannot give up the promise that was given by him. So for this reason, I have to follow the promise given by me to my father to keep him in Satya and Dharma. So when he said this, Vasishtha have no other contradictory arguments to pose before Ramachandra, because Rama always talks about listening to the parents. Even in the previous episodes, Rama tells that Devagandharva Golokan Brahmaloka Tatah Paran Prapnuvanti Mahatmano Mata Pitru Parayanaha. Who serves his parents will go to Brahmaloka, Devaloka and Goloka, which is the topmost planet. So like that, Rama himself told that we have to obey your parents. Now he is again telling that such love of parents can never be requited. So I cannot give up my promise given to my father. So I have to be in the forest for 14 years. Then Bharata, actually at this point he sits on the kusa grass, and then he tries to fight with Rama, and then Rama tells him to get up, sip water, and then touch me. Because whenever you do a mistake, you have to sip water and touch a noble man. Here Rama himself tells, you can sip your water and touch me, because where will you go in search of a noble man here in this forest? I am here, touch me. And then Bharata, he sips the water and touches his brother, as was advised by Rama. And now Vasishtha and Rama, they all sit down, and then when they are having these arguments, Bharata still is firm in his resolve that he cannot go back to Ayodhya without Rama. When Rama refused, all the people around there, they thought, they liked Ramachandra. They were sad because Rama was not coming back to Ayodhya. At the same time, they were happy that Rama was firm in his resolve to stay back in Ayodhya. They liked that nature of Ramachandra. The sages who have assembled there, they also came to Bharata and said, my dear Bharata, whatever your brother is saying is right. Please accept his words. Please go back to Ayodhya. Then Bharata said, if that is so, then he bought golden, wooden sandals, padukas, inlaid in gold. He bought those padukas. Bharata already had a plan B. He knew what to do. So he bought the padukas and he said, Adiroha Arya Padukabhyam, Padabhyam, Adiroha Arya Padabhyam Paduke Hema Bhushite. He says, please get up and ascend these padukas and give them to me. These padukas will rule this entire planet, and they will bear Yogakshema Vidhasyataha. He says these padukas will bestow the Yogakshema. They will take care of the necessities of the people. They will bestow the blessings of you on the people. So please ascend. I pray to you, please ascend onto these padukas. Then Rama knew if he ascends the padukas, that means he has to rule the kingdom, right? But he knew. And then he looked at Vasishtha, what to do now? Then Vasishtha said, my child, please ascend the padukas, give it to your brother Bharata, because he is not going to listen to anybody. So Rama then ascended the padukas, then gave it to Bharata, and he was also thankful that he found out a loophole, so that I will not rule the kingdom personally, but still I will be ruling the kingdom, and you shall not rule the kingdom, but still you will be ruling the kingdom personally. So Bharata took those padukas. Now if anybody has a question that Rama has not taken the kingdom, or Rama is not the king of Ayodhya, their doubt should be abolished, right? So he took the padukas, straight away put them on Shatrunjaya, which is the royal elephant. So that means that then and there the Paduka Pattabhishekam has taken place. The padukas were crowned as the emperor of Ayodhya. So he took the padukas, put them on Shatrunjaya, then took them back and then put them on his head. Then he ascended the chariot. Along with him, Vasishtha, Jabali, Suyagnya, everybody, they all ascended the chariot. All his mothers, they all got onto the chariots. All the people, they were happy. They proudly proclaimed the name of Bharata and glorified Bharata, Rama, and Dasratha for having given birth to his glorious children. And they circumambulated Chitrakuta mountain, seeing all the different kinds of stones and rocks that are colored with different kinds of ores and minerals. And they also saw all the Chakravaka birds, Karandava birds, peacocks, ducks and all these things. They took leave from Rama, Lakshmana and Sita, and they proceeded towards the ashrama of Bharadwaja. So on the way, Bharata descended his chariot at the hermitage of Bharadwaja. He paid his obeisances. He went to Bharadwaja, and Bharadwaja lifted him. And Bharadwaja asked, my dear child, have you accomplished your desire? Did you get what you wanted? Have you met your brother? Have you seen him? Bharata prayed to him and explained all that has happened. And upon taking leave from Bharadwaja, all of them reached Ayodhya. Bharata saw Ayodhya from a distance, and he questioned, why is this Ayodhya so weak and distressed? Why is it like that river that has been dried up long ago? Why am I not smelling that fragrance from olive wood and sandalwood that will be grounded by the youth of the city of Ayodhya? Why am I not seeing all of that? And then he went and he first made his mothers go into their palaces, and there he proclaimed to his ministers and sages and priests such as Vasishtha and Vamadeva that I cannot stay in this kingdom Ayodhya. I want to go to Nandigrama and rule the kingdom from there. This kingdom that is bereft of Ramachandra is no kingdom to me. I cannot live in this kingdom. Can anybody turn on the lights? This kingdom is no, even our room looks like Ayodhya now, without Rama. So Bharata tells that I cannot rule this Ayodhya, staying in Ayodhya. So I will go to Nandigrama. So all the ministers, they applauded the decision of Bharata, and they bought a chariot. Let the chariot be bought. Let the state canopy bought in front of the palace. I will ascend with these padukas, and I will install them on the throne in Nandigrama, and I will rule the padukas will rule the kingdom. He says, Etad rajyam mama bhratra dattam samnyasavat swayam yogakshema vahecha ime paduke hema bhushite. He says, Etad rajyam, this kingdom has been bestowed upon me by my brother, samnyasavat swayam, by my own brother as a trust. So this is just a trust. Yogakshema vahecha ime paduke hema bhushite. The well-being of the people will only be taken care of by these padukas. Yogakshema vahecha. Vahe, here he uses the word vahe. Vahe means, vahamyaha means it will bear, the burden, it will carry the burden. Whereas dadami means I will grant you. So wherever Rama said dadami, he said, I will grant you, but he did not say I will carry you. But Krishna in his Bhagavad Gita, he says, Ananyas chintayanto mam yejana paripasate tesham nityabhiyaktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. He said, I will carry like a slave. All your troubles I will carry. When he came as Krishna, he said that, but Rama is an emperor, he is princely. So he always says, Dadami, I will give you. He says, Sakrudeva prapannaya tava asmi iti cha yachate abhayam sarvabhutebhyo dadami etad vratam mama. Whoever comes to me and says, I am yours, for them I am theirs. He says, tava asmi iti cha yachate dadami etad vratam mama. And that is my religion. I will protect them. So here, Bharata says, Etad rajyam mama bhratra dattam samnyasavat swayam yogakshemam vahecha ime paduke hema bhushite. This padukas of my brother will take care of the kingdom. And he also says, Chatram dharayati kshipram. Hold the state canopy on these padukas immediately, very soon. Chatram dharayati kshipram. Aryapada vimau matau. On the padukas of my brother Arya, the respectable and noble soul Ramachandra. Abhyam rajye stito dharmaha. I will establish the dharma in this kingdom. Abhyam rajye stito dharmaha padukabhyam guror mama. Says, by installing these padukas on the throne as the emperor of Ayodhya and Kosala kingdom of guror mama, of my guru. Bharata always called his brother as guru. Even before going to Chitrakuta, he says, Gatascha Devam Raja Vanastascha Gurur Mama. He says, my king Dasartha has ascended to heavens and my Guru Rama has left to heavens. Not only Rama, even Sita sometimes called Rama as Guru. Lakshmana also called Rama as Guru. All of them, they looked upon their elder brother, the world-charming elder brother, as their Guru also, because he was so knowledgeable and wise person. So when he said that hold the state canopy and give all the respects that one does for a king to the padukas, they will rule the kingdom. And from that day onwards, Bharata, every day, whether he gives a small suggestion to his ministers, or if he gets a gift, or if he donates a gift, or if he does any change in his administration, every day he would go to these padukas and then he would tie his hands and then tell everything in front of the padukas. So, Yada hi tat karyam upaiti kinchit chopahritam upayanam maharham sa padukabhyam prathamam naivedya chakara paschat bharato yathavat. Sapadukabhyam Pradhamam Naivedya. First he would go and Niveda, he would do the Naivedyam, like he tells everything that he has done on that day, and then only he proceeds with other aspects of his life. So like this, one more thing I forgot. When he takes the Padukas from Ramachandra, he tells, these Padukas will rule the kingdom, my brother, and I will wear the robes of bark, and I will mat my hair with matted hair. I would rule this kingdom. Just like you are staying in forest, I too will stay outside the kingdom in a forest and rule the kingdom. And actually I forgot to tell you that here he warns Rama. Nobody ever dared to warn Rama, but Bharata warned, but with devotion and love. He says, my dear Rama, on the elapsing of the 14 years, the next day after these 14 years, if I don't see you, I will enter fire. And Rama took this seriously, because when he won the war in Ayodhya, he immediately sends Hanuman. From Bharadwaja Ashrama, he sends Hanuman, you proceed to Ayodhya, Nandigrama, where my go to Guha first and ask him the whereabouts of Bharata. So Guha will tell you where my friend is, where my brother is. Go to Bharata and tell him that I am coming. Otherwise he will enter the fire. So as I have told you in the other day, that Bharata was so anxious, even after Hanuman convincing him that Rama is coming, he comes outside of Nandigrama, he looks at the horizon and he doesn't see the Pushpaka Vimana of Rama, and then he turns to Hanuman and says, my dear Hanuma, monkeys are famous in the 3 worlds for their mischief. I hope you are not doing any mischief towards me. So such is the anxious nature of Bharata for Rama. So he warns Rama that if you don't come on the next day of the 14th day, I will sacrifice myself in the fire. Then he comes back. So when he comes back, he does this Niveda every day, and then he continued administering Ayodhya by installing the Padukas on the throne of the kingdom of Kosala Rajya. So like this, Bharata performed the Paduka Pattabhishekam, and this is a lesson to all of us. Rama was not there in Ayodhya, so Bharata worshipped the Padukas. Rama is not now with us, right? It's been 17 million years since he appeared on this planet and he is not here. So for us also, what he has left is his legacy. For us Ramayana is his Padukas. We chant Ramayana all the time, so that Ramayana will take care of our lives and Ramayana will rule the kingdom of our hearts, and there will be a change of heart. So that is why we do, at least if we cannot do the real Pattabhishekam to the Padukas because we don't have the original Padukas, at least do the Paduka Pattabhishekam verbally time and again. And I pray to Ramachandra that he gives this opportunity to all of us to do it time and again. So when Bharata was gone to Ayodhya, now let's see what's happening in Chitrakuta. So Rama, he saw sages, they were very anxious. He saw their feelings, their eyebrows were quivering and they were pointing to Rama, and then they were discussing something within themselves. When Rama saw that, he questioned the sage, my dear sages, I hope no offense has been committed by me or my family. I hope Sita has not behaved in such a way that has caused you pain and grief. I hope Lakshmana misbehaved. I hope he did not misbehave with you. Please tell us what is troubling you. Why are you talking amongst yourself? Is there anything that is troubling you? Then the sages looked upon Rama and said, my dear child, why would Sita cause us grief? She is a virtuous lady following Dharma and has followed you. Why would there be any trouble for us because of Sita's presence? Do not think like that. But there is a Rakshasa called Khara in an outpost. There is an outpost of Ravana here in Janasthana. This Khara is troubling the sages, and since the time you have arrived here with bow and arrows, that Khara is planning. He always molests the sages. Whoever have not rinsed their mouth after eating their food, this Khara will come and devour them, like he would kill them. And his associates, Dushana, Trishira, and there are so many other Rakshasas, they all come and kill these sages. So they are troubling us. So it is for this reason we are afraid. So because of your presence here, Khara would come here and make your life difficult. So along with you, he would trouble us also. So that's for one reason we are moving away from this place called Chitrakuta. There is a nearby forest where it is full of fruit, root and honey. So we will go there and settle down ourselves. My dear Rama, you too come along with us, don't stay here. And when Rama heard from all these things from the sages, he went back to the hermitage and he did not stay there for even a moment. He immediately told to Lakshmana and Sita that this place reminds me of the haunting memories of my widowed mothers and my dear brother Bharata. This place is full of such memories. I cannot stay here. And not only that, here the humor of Rama comes out. He tells, this place is smelling like anything because of the dried dung of these animals that Bharata has bought. Bharata has bought elephants, horses and a big cavalry, right? So they were stationed there for a day or two, and because of all the garbage that these animals produced, the place was full of smell. So Rama tells, because of this reason, let's go out of this place. And Lakshmana and Sita knew that this was a simple excuse given by Rama to go out of that place because he did not like it. But since they love Rama and they don't want to see him troubled, they also accepted, and then they moved from there because they just built a hermitage right there, right? They don't want to abandon it. But they said, okay, let's go from here. And then they left Chitrakuta and then they proceeded towards Dandakavana. When they were going towards Dandakavana, they came in contact with Atri Maharshi. Atri was an elderly sage and he had a wife called Anasuya. And when Rama came and greeted Atri Maharshi, he blessed Rama, he lifted him up and he showed Rama, she is my wife Anasuya. She is very gracious and very powerful also. She, by her penance and by her good deeds, she has done some amazing feats. One such thing is, she brought the river Ganges to here, where there was, this place was full of drought. No grain was there, no trees were there, no fruits were there. But out of her penance, she brought Bhagirathi to flow here, and she made this land fertile. And not only that, she had a friend called Sandili, and Sandili's husband was sick. And some sages told that if she goes and fetches something, she wanted to fetch some water for her husband, and on her way she stepped on Mandavya. I don't think you know the story of sage Mandavya, right? Sage Mandavya was a great sage, but because in his childhood he punished ants with a needle, at one time in his life, when somebody stole the jewels from a neighbor king and then they put it in the sage's hermitage. When the king found out this, they impaled sage Mandavya. So he was troubled because he was impaled on a spear. So this lady Sandili unknowingly stepped on him, and he, out of pain, he cried out because he was already in pain. And the other sages around him cursed Sandili that because you gave pain to the sage, your husband will die within 10 days. So then Anasuya and Sandali cursed back the sages, and she said, let this night do not pass away. Let there be no mourning at all. Then Anasuya clubbed all those 10 days into one night, and she let that night pass away quickly so that Sandali's husband would not die. And at the same time, there will be another day. So great was Anasuya's penance. So she is my wife Anasuya. When he introduced Anasuya, Ramachandra took blessings of her, and he asked Sita to go and take blessings of Anasuya. And Sita went to Anasuya, and Anasuya asked Sita, my dear child, why is it that after your marriage it took 10 or 12 days for you to get married to Ramachandra? I heard Rama broke the vow and immediately you should marry, right? But it took 12 days for you. Can you narrate me the entire things that has happened? Then Sita explains the entire Sita Rama Kalyanam to Anasuya. She says, there once upon a time there was a king called Janaka. I would describe it briefly. Hearing Sita Rama Kalyanam is always auspicious. So Sita tells in her own words, which are full of syllables and very good language. If you read Valmiki Ramayana, this episode is very beautiful. And it's unfortunate that I had to I cannot recite the entire thing, but Sita tells Anasuya that there once upon a time there was a king called Janaka, and my father, when he was plowing the earth, he got me, and the divine voice Akasavani told my father that I should be his daughter, and he should raise me. and he raised me. But even Indra, the king of celestials, would be apprehensive and would be a little sorrowful if his daughter is not getting married, right? She says, at the time, a daughter is a burden to the king, so she told all these things. So similarly, my father was also in anguish because he was not able to find a proper bride for me. I mean, a groom for me. It's always confusing. So a proper groom for me. Then when Sita said that, she continued that, then my father announced for the Swayamvara, where I can choose my own husband, but he put the Sivadhanusu as a test. Whoever breaks the Sivadhanusu, only he alone can marry me. And all the kings, demigods, Nagas, Kimpurshas, so many Gandharvas, they all tried, but none of them, even in their dreams, cannot lift the Sivadhanus. Even in their dreams, they could not do it. If I cannot become the richest man on the planet in my real world, at least in dreams I can become, right? In dreams you can dream anything. But Sita says, even in the dreams, these kings could not lift that bow. Even in the dreams, it was so heavy. So that's why Sita's language is always beautiful. Whenever Sita speaks, it's full of humor and it's full of proper grammar and beautiful words. Sita's words are precise. So she says, even in their dreams, the kings were not able to lift the bow. And such bow, the boys Rama and Lakshmana, they came to our palace. They saw the bow, and my husband Rama, who is the most powerful among the Ikshvaku race, he lifted that bow and he broke it. In an attempt to string it and pull it to his ear, he broke that magnificent bow. And as to the promise given by my father, he offered me to my husband. But my husband declined. He said, only if my father Dasharatha agrees, Sita as his daughter-in-law, then only I would marry Sita. And for this reason I love my husband 1,000 manifold, more than I used to love him for his bravery and courage, because he respects his elders. So beautifully Sita explains the Sita Rama Kalyanam. And she says, and my sister Urmila was given to Lakshmana. And who is the wife of Bharata? Mandavi. Who is the wife of Shatrugna? Srutakirti. So, by attending Ramayana you would know all this. So, all the other daughters of my father, and Mandavi and Srutakirti are the daughters of Kushadhwaja, who is the brother of Janaka. So, we are given to the children of Dasharatha, and that's how our marriage took place. And since then we lived happily 12 years in Ayodhya, and now we came to this forest. So when Sita explained, Anasuya was also very happy. She said, my dear child, you have so beautifully explained your marriage with proper syllables, and so beautiful is his language, and you have entertained me completely. So she was very happy, and she bought from inside all the jewels, cosmetics, and other things that generally women use, and she gave all those things to Sita. They said this would be like an Akshaya Patra, they would never end, they would keep on coming, so use them. And wear all these jewels here right in front of me, I want to see you. So when Sita wore all those things, then she blessed and said, it's already evening, I can see the smoke which is in the color of the neck of a pigeon, grey in color, and I can see all the deer sitting here near the sacrificial altars. It's already dark, and the sages are coming out from bathing in the rivers. They have offered their ablutions in the evening and the evening rituals, and they are coming back. I can see all of them. So it's time we go to your husband. So Anasuya sent Sita back to Ramachandra. So Sita came back to Rama with all the jewels and all these things that she wore. This has become the tradition of India, right? Whenever women come home, they give something to them, and Ramayana teaches all these things. From Ramayana comes all these things. So then when Sita came to Rama and she said, see, I got all these things from Anasuya, and Rama was also happy that it's not possible that she got all these gifts without pleasing Anasuya. So he knew that Sita was very well versed in good respects and manners, and she knew how to talk to elders, and with her pleasant manners she has caused pleasure to the elders. So he was also happy, and they took the permission of the sages, and the sages said that, my dear Rama, this Dandakaranya is infested full of Rakshasas, and you go to the south and make a hermitage. And Rama took leave of those sages, and he proceeded towards the south. and they talked about all the Rakshasas, how they are troubling, which I will explain in detail next week. So this way Ayodhya Kanda concludes that Rama taking permission from Atri Maharshi, and with Sitaram Kalyanam it ends in a glorious way. It's a back-to-back magnificent narration, like Paduka Pattabhishekam, and then comes Sitaram Kalyanam. So with this we will end today's Mangalam Kosalendraya Mahaniya Gunatmane Chakravarti Tanujaya Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam. Any questions?